Morning, day 7 of the Nativity fast. This is it should be said that these days every year are not identical, that this is, on this particular year, the 7th day happens to be the 21st of November, the entry of the Theotokos in the temple. This is the day where, according to holy tradition, the Mother of God, as a 3-year-old girl, was led by her parents to the temple to dedicate her to service to God after he mercifully allowed them in their old age to have a child. And on this day, we always read a particular gospel for the feast, really all the feasts of the Mother of God. And I say this maybe every time I preach on it, but I really think it needs to be said more and more. You know, there's the verse that we use when we, at the very end of this gospel reading, out of Luke 10, and so it begins actually with Mary and Martha, where he comes in and, she is, Martha is busy with all of these different, all of these different chores and everything, and Mary's just sitting at the feet of Jesus. Obviously, it's a different Mary, but, he tells her that Mary has chosen the best part. And then we skip ahead. That's the end of chapter 10. We skip ahead to chapter 11, verses 27. As he said this, and as we're hearing it, sometimes the church will do this. It'll stop, so really the reading today is saying, as Christ said, Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things. One thing is needful. Mary has chosen the good portion which shall not be taken away from her. Well, in the text of the gospel, there's like the majority of there's a whole half a chapter that occurs after he tells Martha that. But for our reading in the liturgy, we are told, within the church, as Christ said, Martha, Martha, and all the rest of it. A woman in the crowd raised her voice and said to him, blessed is the womb that bore you and the breast that you have sucked. But he said, and this is where I'm looking out of the RSV, the Revised Standard Version. I very much, in general, like it for study. It's one that actually had Orthodox input, by the way, in its compilation. But it's a bad translation here, and I correct it in gospel books. When I see it, I strike out the next word, because in this version it says, after someone said, blessed is the womb that bore you and the breast that you've sucked, he said, here it says, blessed rather are those who hear the word of God and keep it. And that rather makes it seem like Christ is saying, no, forget that. Don't bless the womb that bore me or the breast that I nursed at. Rather, instead of that, blessed is he. And so contrasting the two. But the word translated rather is menunge in the Greek, and it is used, St. Paul uses it, to mean not contradiction, but inclusion. Really, that word should be translated moreover, or more than that, In other words, yea, and there are some versions of the Bible in English that translate the, it says yea or yes, indeed, verily, So he's affirming that. And then he says, don't stop there, don't stop there. Moreover than that, not only that blessing, but blessed is he who hears the word of God and keeps it. Well, we know that the Theotokos, the Mother of God, heard the words of Gabriel, heard the words of her 12-year-old son Christ, who said he must be in his father's house, heard the words of the shepherds and the wise men when they came, telling her what they had heard about her son, her miraculous virgin and born son, and she cherished those things in her heart and kept them. So only she is doubly blessed. We are called to hear the word of God and keep it, but we will never have that double blessing that only she was given, according to the scriptures, to have. So on this feast day and throughout the period of the feast, let us remember her, double blessing and how she prays for us and gives us the great example, calls us to follow her Son, to hear his words and keep them. So God bless you. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.